Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Bonjarama, Fulbe Australia. Harai misal minium. Melandike sitana wa alaimo. Harai ko toli mom ko seni donkam. Harai me beltike fota ko na sera. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that we are here at the traditional people, and I would like to pay my respect to their past and elders as well. My name is Sule, and of course I'm a lecturer at Darwin University. I promised my wife that I'm not going to do one thing, and I will keep my promise. And that is, I told her that I'm not going to get into a debate what the different scholars are saying about the topic. She said she don't like that, just get straight to the point. And when you listen to them, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get straight to the point.
That's good.
So what I want to do today is basically this. I want to provide, hopefully, this conference a food for thought. I know that we do have a workshop later in the evening. And I want to give you a perspective, of course there are other perspectives, a perspective of what I think about language in this conference. And I want to get you, hopefully, go back and reflect on some of the things that I'll be bringing up today. So the central idea or the central theme of what I want to argue in today's topic is this, and that is language matters. It doesn't matter what language you refer into, all languages are matters. They do matter, and they are very important. And I want to start with a story because this is a very, very much a personal experience. A colleague of mine, his name is Sergio Ba. Of course, not this Sergio Ba, the other Sergio Ba. The two of us, we started schooling together. We went to the same school, the same primary school, the same secondary school, and we get the opportunity to do our high school in overseas. And when we went there to do our high school, we were introduced to the Fullah Language. When we went there, both of us went together. They started teaching us the Fullah alphabets. And we come back home, the two of us started discussing this. And I said, I think this is a complete waste of time. I would rather learn English because, you know, that is what hopefully will give me a job opportunity in the future. That is what's going to create my future. That is what is important to me. And then he said this to me. He said, do you have to choose? Can't you not have both of them? Can't you not have English, but at the same time learn your Fullah language? Of course, at that time, perhaps I was not thinking straight. I said, no. I said, for now, I really want to master the English language first, and then I will think of my Fullah language. He took a different path altogether. He said, good, I'm not going to leave English behind, but at the same time, I will also study my local language. And we both of us took this different path. I went for the English language, and since that day, I did not go to any of the Fullah classes. And after 6 years, we end up different places in the world. I end up doing my PhD here in Australia. I end up teaching here, and I'm very much proud of my achievements.
Yes.
But if there is one regret I have, is that I did not learn my mother tongue during that time. And to me, that is a big regret. And I'm standing here acknowledging that and admitting that in front of all of you. Hopefully, one day somebody would learn from that experience and say, look, perhaps this is not about a choice. It's not about having one and taking and forgetting about the other one. This is about basically acknowledging why languages, all of them, matters. And that is what I want to start my talk with today. But first, as academic we do, we always want to go to definitions, isn't it?
Hey.
Don't worry, miss, I promise I will not get into the debate. I only have one definition, and that is, when you think of language, yes, it is a vehicle that we use to communicate with, and also we keep on saying that it allows us to express our thought, our perception, and our sentiment. But what I want to concentrate on in today's talk is the last aspect down there, which says basically it is also a fundamental expression of what social identity is. When I was thinking of language, I was thinking of it only as a vehicle. I did not realize that actually it's part of what your social identity is. And after those 6 years, right as I speak to you today, I'm trying to make it up. I'm trying. I even spend more time, I think, studying Fullah than even doing my own research nowadays, unfortunately. And I still feel that I have missed a lot. Because that aspect of social identity perhaps is what we don't talk about most of the time. So yes, language is not only unique because of the symbols that it has, and I think we have already had a very important speech this morning, how important for us to understand each other and communicate. But the most important thing when I look at what I have there is that language is something that is learned. It's not something that we are born with. So if some of us are here today, perhaps, we think of our mother tongue and we said, oh, I have not, or I have forgotten it. It's not too late. I started some time ago, but I still think it's not too late. We all can do it because it's something that you can learn. You can go back and learn it. When you learn it, you're not just learning the symbols. You're learning who you are. You're learning your culture. You're learning your identity. So when you think of a language, this is what language provides you. First, it provides you knowledge. Yes, I studied English, and as I said, I appreciate what I have learned from it. But every now and then, whenever I learn about Fullahs, what I realize is there are a lot of knowledge in there that I don't know of. And I realize that it's a language not only that it is rich in terms of communication, but also it's a language which is rich in terms of body of knowledge. Some of that information one day I will be proud if I can transmit that to my children. Yes, it is a form of transmitting information, and also, it's a form that you express your feelings, emotions, and ideas. And also it's one that which helps us forge our cultural ties. When I arrived this morning, there are a lot of people here who I have not been able to meet for a very long time. And if it was not because of this conference, perhaps I would not have been able to catch up with. So it's a very good thing that, our seniors think of having this conference so we can network and get to know each other. But also it's one that which constructs our social identity. And I want to emphasize on that because your social identity is really important. And that comes from your language and knowing what your culture is all about. When you think of the broader picture, perhaps some of you may have been thinking very much like me, and that is, why do I need to study my language? Why do I need to pay attention to my language? Think of this. Now, the reason I provide those answers is because my wife told me not just to ask the questions and leave it there, so I have to provide the answers. How many languages are spoken throughout the world? Actually, you may think English perhaps is the only language, because that's what we see in the media, that is widely spoken, and that is true. But actually, do you know that over 6,500 languages are spoken worldwide? And what proportion of the world spoke English, basically, or at all? What proportion of the world speak no English at all? Nearly 75% of the world population do not speak English, all right? In Australia alone, where we live today, there are more than 300 languages are spoken. What is the point am I trying to make here? The point I'm trying to make here is that when people think of second languages, most of the time, they think of the economic benefit of that language. They start thinking, let's learn Chinese. Why Chinese? Because we're going to trade with the Chinese. Let's learn Indian because we're going to trade with India. That is the economic argument why language is important. But where I'm coming from today is the social identity aspect. And the reason I'm emphasizing on the social identity is because it's one that which will help us also overcome a lot of other problems, Yeah. So 1 in 4 Australia where we live today were born overseas. So Australia is truly a multicultural society. And Australians basically come from nearly 200 countries, and they represent more than 300 ethnic backgrounds. So yes, your ethnicity is not the one and only ethnicity here in Australia. So it's good that you be proud of, your ethnicity, your language that you come from, So more than 1 in 5 of us actually acknowledge in the Australian Bureau of Statistics that we speak, we speak other languages other than English at home. And I think it's something which is completely growing, and of course with the help of the ethnic schools, this is a very good opportunity for us to continue to be proud of this. So even if you are going with the economic argument why other languages are benefit, it's just a matter of time. As you can see, there is a lot of growth happening even in Australia in terms of diversity and things like that, So one of those cultural groups I wanted to talk about a little bit is the Fullah people. But I think because we have heard a lot about them already, so I will not bore you much about them. But one thing about the Fullah people, as you can see, and that is the African map you can see there. So starting from the east all the way from the west, you have a lot of Fullah people living in all those areas. So again, if you are going to use that economic argument, you would want to do business in Africa, perhaps learning Fulani is a good thing as well. So the Fullah language, basically, the language of the Fulani is known as Fullah. Of course, it depends which part of it you come from. And the language usually exists in a very multicultural environment. And that's one good thing about the Fullah language. And because it exists very much in a multicultural environment, that's why the Fullah language also, at times, is very much influenced by other languages as well. And I think when you had people speak here the Fullah language, sometimes it's just a matter of time they will throw 1 or 2 English words in there, responsibilities and things like that, And I think that's a good thing, because basically what that tells you the Fullah language is very much a fluid language, and it has that potential to grow very quickly. Now, the last point there, I really want to emphasize on that. If you remember, I started this argument. I started talking about how important a language can help construct a social identity. The Fulanis, they are very much known with the following virtues. And one of them is what we call munyal. Now, I'm not going to get lost into the translations. I will not attempt to translate that at all. But even though many would say munyal is very much, a patient, but I think it's more than just being patient. It's more than that. But the Fullahs are known for that, And I think that is a great virtue, because what patience means, it means it gives you that resilience to live no matter where you are. So challenges is something that we do encounter, and it's something that we are built to resist, And I think that's a good thing, And if we can pass that to our children, especially those who are born here, and I think that's a good thing for them to learn what munyal is, so that they will be able to be more resilient. The other thing also, the other virtue which is equally important is what we call wakilare. Again, I'm not going to get lost into the translation and attempt translating that, because it's a very difficult word to translate itself. But wakilare, perhaps, just for the benefit of those who are here, I would say is something mean basically helping yourself, helping each other, basically giving all your best. Like in Australia, they say, give it all you can, something like that. So again, it's that built on resilience. So there is nothing in the Fullah language which is like half-cooked event or action. When you go in, we go in full on, So wakilare, we do whatever we can. But the next one there is very important, and that is walindiran. Walindiran means helping each other, communicating with each other and working with each other. And I think that is really important. Now, the next one there is called holare. Holare, I think it's a very difficult one to translate, because holare sometimes people may say basically is something like being trustworthy. But I think it's something more than that. I don't think it's just being a trustworthy. But the Fullahs, in all the part of Africa that they have lived, they are known for their trustworthiness, So when they come to business, people trust them enough to give them, Of course, this is those days when we did not have ATM machines, or we did not have, the banks. So you have to give somebody that money, So people will come and give you the money and say, keep it for me, And they will keep it for you. And even if they are hungry and they have to feed themselves, they will not touch that money. Because for them, touching that money is a betrayal, and we are not known for that. So Hola is really important. And the last one there is what we call Dina. Now, again, in a simple term, Dina means being very much a religious person. But I would say also Dina go beyond just being a religious person, but being morally a right person. Yes. Doing what is right, even when the eyes of your parents are not there. Yes. You know, so that is something that which is already inculcated in us. Yes. And for my Fullah friends and for everyone who are here, my challenge to you is this, before you leave this conference. We need to not only teach our children perhaps the Fullah language, but if we can, try and transmit those virtues into them, we might, I'm not saying for certain, but we might avoid most of the social issues that we are having with our children in this country. So let's work harder and harder. Today we are here is because of the virtues that our parents transmit to us. So not only it is a responsibility for us to transmit those virtues, but it is also we are obliged to do that. And if we don't do that, we have not only betrayed our languages, but we have already betrayed our ancestors. And hope we don't do that.
Thank you.
So the Fullahs in Australia, I think we already heard a lot of information about them. We are almost about 500, and I did check the ABS as well. And hopefully more of us, because I believe we have more than 500, but because of the Bureau of Statistics, you have to take and acknowledge that you are a Fulani, and I think most of us perhaps are not doing that. Perhaps we have only that number for now. But we have a very big number in Australia. As you can see, the Fulbe Australia, that is the umbrella body of all the Fulanis in Australia. And of course, we have the president here, and they are doing a great job in supporting and also helping the other groups to exist. And we have the Fullah Friends of South Australia. So I think we have seen Siddiq and his team, you know, trying to organize this despite, you know, the minimum funding perhaps they have, but they still go ahead with that, you know. And that, again, you can see that wakilare. Regardless whether they have it or not, they did the wakilare, they did everything they could to make this happen. We have the Bantal Pular. Now, all these communities, they will tell you what they do later in more detail, so I will not get into it. I'm just giving you who they are. And I'm sure I have missed some of them there. But we have another group, the Bantal Pular, that one is in New South Wales. And the Mobondiral is in Victoria, which is in Melbourne. And Gotankaku is in Western Australia. And Musidal is in Queensland. And Hali Pular, I think, is in ACT as well, you know. And I'm sure we already missed one, which is the Fulbe Darwin as well, you know. I know we are a small number, but we are So in conclusion, I want to leave you with this slide here today. And the reason I put in this slide, I want to take the opportunity because I know we have policy leaders here. And I know that we have other people that I want to directly talk to. If we want to keep our language going, and if we want to do this for the benefit of our children, there are a few things I'm proposing. Some of the things I'm proposing is something that we, the Fullah people, and other ethnic groups in this hall should do. But other things also I'm proposing is that something hopefully policy makers will take into advantage. One is the use of language at home. I mean, nothing wrong with doing that, and we should continue and be proud of using our language at home. Now, you may be surprised. The children might not speak the language, but believe me, they listen to it and they hear it and they know exactly what you're saying, you know. You know, my wife and I, when we want to talk something that we don't want the kids to know, we think if we said it in Fullah, they will not understand, you know. But the moment we said it, they will come and say, "Can I come along?" We will, "What? How did you know that?" You know, so don't be surprised. But the other thing also I want to do is encouraging children to become active rather than passive users of language. What that means, it means not only you speak to them the language, but also you introduce the culture to them. You know, having the dress, the food, the music, the house, all those, you know, is part of teaching them, you know. but also more language classes. And I know Fulbe Australia are doing a great job. They will tell you what they are doing in New South Wales. I think you guys have a school there where you're teaching children. So hopefully, you know, we can learn from that experience and we have more people doing that. Now the final one there, and I hope the minister was here, I was proposing that we should also add Fullah as a language of instructions in school in Australia as well, you know, especially for those who want to use that language. I mean, the school my kids go to, they have Chinese, they have Italian, so they can choose any of those languages. So I'm proposing perhaps we should have Fullah as well. And believe me, we have very good teachers here as well who can do this, you know. So, finally, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you today. And hopefully, we will get the chance during the workshop to go through some of these points that was raised in this talk today. So, thank you very much.